How you doing, YouTube? My name is Raw Nate, and you can call me Raw Nate. I've made several attempts to make this video, and I finally just had to move back into my office to do it. Did have a really nice little space out of my patio, but because this is like freaking rush hour right now, and there was a gazillion buses going by, it was too distracting, so I just came back in here. You don't care about that. Listen, guys, this video has been... It's been in the works for the last several days in my mind, and I still have no idea how I'm going to put it out there the way I want to. To me, it's a very complicated issue, and I've had no idea. Every time I try to bring it up, every time I try to talk about it, 50 gazillion things try to come out at the same time. But my buddy Shell made a video and just posted it a few hours ago, maybe not even that long, and it kind of motivated me to try to just put it out there the best I can on how I feel about the topic, and then also add my 2 cents. And Shell, buddy, I don't know if this is going to help anything or make it more complicated. I really have no idea, but this is just basically what I've been dealing with, and then hopefully maybe we can just share some insight and deal with it together. I don't know, but anyway, so my buddy Shell made this video basically saying how he does not feel comfortable with other cisgendered men. Would not feel comfortable sitting in a room full of men, has trouble relating to men. And, you know, here's the thing. I mean, when someone has identified as female their entire life and has socialized as female and was raised and brought up as female and acted accordingly, learned how to act like a female, learned how to be female, even though there was always that part in the back of their mind that wished to goodness that they could be male, wished that they could be identified as male and be referred to as male and be able to get to do the same things as men do and all that. But when you've gone for the last 40 years of your life, or 50 years for some people, or even later, as the opposite gender that you've always felt like it, in our case, female, we, all of a sudden, just because we come out as trans, and just because we want to start making some changes that way, that doesn't mean that we can just flip a switch and start all of a sudden relating to men and feeling like a man when we sit in with a room full of men and expect to be able to relate to all of them like most other cis men would. And so therefore, the whole idea of that can be extremely intimidating. Not only that, but I think that people in general have different sets of expectations that they do from between men and women. When you're brought up as a woman and you socialize as women, then you learn to meet the expectations of relating to and being a woman, and vice versa. I'm assuming. I mean, when you grow up as a man and you grow up associating with men and socializing with men, then you learn to meet the expectations that everyone has of you as being a man. But all of a sudden, when you're completely turning your world around and you're saying, okay, everyone, refer to me as a man now, use male pronouns, and think of me as a man, and expect me to be able to do man things, and expect me to all of a sudden know how to be a man in a room full of men when you've never done it before, all of a sudden you begin to feel like, oh crap, I've got all these I've got this new set of expectations on me now that I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to meet. I have no idea how I'm going to meet these expectations. I'm going to attempt to, and I'm just going to end up falling on my face. So therefore, all these doubts start coming into your mind about whether or not you're really trans enough to be able to expect everyone to start referring to you as a man if you yourself are afraid you're not even going to be able to refer to yourself as a man and be a man in a room full of men. So then you have all these doubts and you have all these fears, and maybe you should just give up on your transition because now you just completely doubt yourself. If you can't relate to men, then you're obviously not a man, and you're obviously not trans enough. And these are fears that I've had. I had them starting out at the very beginning. They haven't completely gone away, these fears. I will say that they don't bother me as much, and I think it's just because I've just had to start focusing on other things, and I just have to let that sort itself out. But I mean, I'm going through the same thing in pretty much in a different environment. Like, I was talking to my gender therapist, and right now, I have to try to get in shape. I have to lose weight. I have to start working out and building up muscle. Now that I'm on testosterone, the problem is that I just do not feel comfortable going into a gym and identifying as man, as male or as masculine, because I don't feel masculine there. I'm overweight. I've got ginormous boobs on my chest, and I go there and I feel like everyone is looking at me, and just basically with the idea of, what's this person doing here? This person doesn't belong here. I feel like that's the last place I should be, is in a gym filled with big, tall, muscular men, and then try to relate to a man, or relate as a man, or present myself as a man, I guess is what I'm trying to say, in a room full of these very macho, masculine, buff dudes. And so I'm talking to my therapist about this, and I'm telling her how I feel, and she's basically saying, okay, why do you think they're looking at you as though you don't belong? What do you think that they're thinking when they see you? And I said, honestly, the way that I feel like what they're thinking when they see me is, what is this fat dyke doing here? Because that's the way that I feel. And she said, why do you think they're saying that about you? And then I said, well, look at me. Wouldn't you say that? Wouldn't you say that about me? And she was like, no, why would I say that you're a fat dyke? And why would I say, what are you doing here at the gym? No, why would you think I would say that? And I was like, because I would say that about someone that looked like me coming into the gym, more than likely. More than likely, if I were one of these dudes that was all buff and masculine and all that, and I saw someone that walked in there trying to lift weights and looked exactly like me, that's what I would say. More than likely, not verbally, not out loud, but that's probably what I would say in my mind, was like, good Lord, But so when I said, well, because that's what I would say more than likely, then she said, exactly. That's what you would say about yourself, because that's exactly how you feel about yourself. Do you feel like you're a man, or do you feel like a fat dyke? And I know that sounds horrible. I know that that's a very condescending thing to say. It could be very offensive to people out there, and I'm not trying to be. I'm just saying that's what I'm saying about myself. Okay, so I hope nobody gets offended at that. I really do hope nobody gets offended at me saying that. But I'm just saying that that's how I feel about myself. Okay, and yeah, I guess I'm very hard on myself on that, and that's basically what she said. That I'm extremely hard on myself. That I just need to let it go. I need to quit caring what people think about me. I need to just let that go, because more than likely the opinions that I feel or I'm afraid that they have about me are all conjured up in my head anyway, because that's my self-image. That's the way that I see myself, so I just assume everyone else sees that about me as well. So it's difficult. It's very difficult. And this is where my therapist just basically said, now you're really starting to get down to the depth of just how difficult transitioning is. and it's a complete different self-image that you're bringing upon yourself, and it will come out in time. But if this is something that I really want, then I'm going to have to quit focusing on how other people see me and start focusing on myself and how I want to be seen. And that's it, basically. So it's like whenever I get into a room full of men, I will say this. I know that back when I was a young teenager and I was socializing with other girls, because that's what we did. I grew up very religious, and there was a lot of attention paid to hairstyles and makeup and clothes and all that, because we were basically my social life were the girls that I grew up in church, and everybody was extremely feminine. All of the girls that I grew up with were really feminine. And so I had to learn how to be that feminine so that I could fit in, because back when you're that age, fitting in is the most important thing. So there were so many times when I would slip up, I guess, for lack of a better way to say, and allow my true, like the inner boy in me come out. And I would say something that to a room full of girls, probably they would have considered to be extremely inappropriate. But to me, I thought it was funny. I don't know, probably some kind of a silly joke that probably most teenage boys would have found really funny. But these girls would just look at me like, God, you're so immature. You know, where did that come from? So now as I'm getting older, or as I am older, and now that I've come out as trans and I get around more men, I'm starting to feel that comfort level where the young boy is coming out on me again, and I'm saying things that would be, I guess, more appropriate to have been said around men. So that tells me that the comfort, my comfort level of allowing my true self to really come out is finally starting to come out of suppression. Okay, so that's a good thing. But getting over my fears and intimidations as far as going to the gym and trying to work out, that's basically what it's intimidation. I feel extremely intimidated while at the gym around these men. They look at me like I don't belong, or I feel like they're looking at me like I don't belong. So anyway, I think my phone is about to cut off, or cut the video off, so I'm just going to let it go from here. And I would appreciate some feedback. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope everybody has a great week.